I cannot believe that the year has gone so fast. I just cannot believe that we're already in December. So in this episode, I did say that I would try and stay away from the BAM stuff, but I just wanted to address some of the comments that Rabid made on his channel recently about me, and to correct some things and set some things straight. I also wanted to talk about Christmas preparations and Christmas decorations and food and mashed potatoes and side dishes and all those wonderful things. And I also want to say that, for the short time that I was friends with Bam, I understood, despite her flaws, that she had done things to help people in her channel and online. And I think that's one of the reasons why I remained friends with her up to a certain point. Like I told you, and Rabid, this is a response to what you've said, and I'm going to respond to some of the things that you've said. I never tried to distance myself from Bam in any podcasts I've made. I already had distanced myself from her. Like I said, it was this year, February, so the beginning of the year. So that's almost, 11 months now. 11 months ago, basically, I distanced myself from Bam because she'd sent me a comment, or she'd sent me an email, and that email was a signal to me that she was escalating. But not only that, some of the things that she'd written in that email, and, I don't know if I'm ever going to share that email or not. I'm undecided. But some of the things that she'd written in that email, I knew were not fact. I know for a fact that I didn't have comments on my channel about her, which she claimed, of the kind that she claimed, because I wouldn't have approved those kind of comments about her at that time. So I believed it was the right time to leave in February, where I saw that she was escalating. And I don't believe for a moment that you don't have a clue what she's been saying over the last few months, because in actual fact, in my opinion, since I stopped speaking to her, since I stopped taking part in her channel, she has escalated and become more extreme in her behavior. So in actual fact, within the last few months before she went down, she actually has repeatedly made the claims that are on that channel, the Nottingham Bike channel. So your claim that you didn't know what Bam was saying and you didn't know that she was still saying these things, I'm not quite buying it, because she'd actually repeatedly said these things a lot, particularly over the last 6 months. I mean, at least up until her channel, up until her channel was no longer there, she was repeatedly saying these types of things over and over and over again. Before, it was occasionally, but then it got more repetitive. Her behavior became more repetitive. The main themes of my channel are human behavior, true karma, food and lifestyle, and current events. I don't limit everything to that, but they're the main themes of my channel. And I just want to make this statement, because you said that sometimes I will respond to a comment that I haven't approved. Well, let me just tell you this. Unlike many other creators, I approve about 95 to 96% of the comments that are on my channel. Not only that, but I usually respond to at least one comment from each person. Most creators won't even respond to 25% of the comments that are left on their channel. So I'm unique in that sense, that I try to acknowledge people who come to my channel. I try to respond to most of their comments. Now, I'm not perfect, and sometimes I will slip up, but I actually approve between 95 to 96% of comments, and I also try my very hardest to respond to one comment from each person. So there are times when somebody leaves a very unkind comment or a misleading comment, and I won't approve it. But what I will sometimes occasionally do is I will still respond to that comment to set the record straight. And I'm allowed to do that because this is my channel and I'm allowed to do that. There are many creators who don't approve or wouldn't approve comments or wouldn't even respond to such comments. So you're saying that's a flag for you. Well, it wasn't a flag for you how BAM was behaving in the last few months, but it was a flag for you that I will sometimes respond to unkind comments without approving the actual comment. That's a big deal for you, but it's not a big deal. The things that BAM was saying in the last few months, I find that very interesting. The other thing is I was never part of the truther community. I was associated with the truther community, but I was never a truther. I do tell the truth. I consider myself to tell the truth in the best of my knowledge, but I was never part of the truth community. The truth community are people like Martin Dian, Truth Justice, people who would go to AD's channel, watch hours and hours of his content, edit it and re-upload it to their channels with commentary and with debunking videos. I didn't do that. I did make videos of AD, and I have made quite a few videos of AD, but he was never, ever my focus. Yes, I was once a very staunch Rusek supporter, and because of certain things that happened regarding Claire Morgan and certain things that I found out later, I'm no longer a Rusek supporter, but I still have respect for the memory of Shanann. Still have respect for that, which BAM didn't. And you knew that. You were fully aware of what she was saying. One of the other things you claimed, Rabid, is that you hadn't actually watched my video that I made about you or partially about you. You actually found out about it. You claim you found out about it through word of mouth or because someone told you. So how could you actually comment on my video if you haven't actually watched it yourself? I mean, why would you comment on something that you actually haven't watched yourself? I mean, I generally don't comment on things or respond to things that I actually haven't seen with my own eyes. I don't comment through third parties, generally speaking, when it comes to these types of things anyway. But I personally believe that you did watch my video and you probably also read the comments underneath the video. BAM used to play this game. She used to say, she's not watching this, she's not watching that, she's not interested. Sheila would tell me, BAM doesn't come to your channel anymore, she doesn't watch your videos. BAM watched every single video that I put out. And I know this for a fact, and I can even prove it. But, BAM was never really a friend to anyone. I use the term friendship with BAM loosely. I mean, BAM had flying monkeys, enablers, and, people that were devoted to her. And look, I'm not saying that BAM's devoted people didn't have minds of their own. I'm pretty sure that a lot of her devoted followers didn't believe the Emma Kenny claims that she made. Probably not. I'm not saying some people didn't believe it, but Emma Kenny comes to my channel, her mods come to my channel to get ideas and take my content. I'm pretty sure that her subs, not all her subs believe that, and then the bunny claims, I'm pretty sure that not all her subs believe that either. But she has a way of drawing you in. It's that technique that people with MPD do. They draw you in. They make you feel special, desired, loved. They compliment you enough. They flatter you enough to make you believe that they like you and to make you believe, to kind of give you that feeling that you're special. And so you feel like you have to overlook their behaviors. And it encourages you to overlook people's behaviors, people like BAM, her behaviors. And, I think people overlooked a lot of things, and someone should have said something and done something a lot sooner than finding out that she was saying stuff about them behind their backs. I'm really glad that I left in February when I did, and I make no excuse. I was friendly with BAM. I took part in some of her drama, but there's a line that I wouldn't cross. And there's a line and there's a route and a line that I didn't cross and that I wouldn't go beyond. There was a stop point for me, and that was February. And I think the people who continued to back her up and enable her probably didn't always know that they were enabling her, but they did. And I think that her behavior was overlooked because of her skills, the skills she had to make people feel liked and wanted and loved, that she had your back. That's the type of person that she was. She made you feel like she had your back. So in turn, it gave people the belief that they should be also loyal to her and overlook her behaviors. I make I make no excuses. I was friendly with her for a time. I took part in some of the drama, but like I said, I knew when it was time to leave. And for me, it was absolutely time to leave in February. I don't know about any of you, but I love at this time of year watching Hallmark Christmas movies, Lifetime, any kind of good Christmas movie I can get my hands on, I will watch. However, a lot of these movies are just fluff, aren't they? A lot of these movies are fluff. They've got the Christmas tree in the background, they've got the bells and the whistles, but they don't really have any good dialogue. They don't really have a good storyline. They're just fluffy Christmas movies. But, sometimes I'm a sucker for those. Home Alone will always be my favorite Christmas movie. No matter how much time passes, Home Alone remains my number one Christmas film. I just want to tell you something about my Christmas tree, and it might give you some ideas. And I know that a lot of you would have already put up your decorations. If you want to save money, get a tree where you don't have to plug the tree in. My tree, I don't have to plug it in. Also, the lights on the tree are battery operated. So my tree is a beautiful tree. It's battery operated, and it actually comes on by itself. As soon as nighttime comes, it actually turns on by itself, and the lights start blinking, and it will run for a few hours, and then it will stop itself. So it might stop like about midnight. Sometimes I will just turn it back on if I'm still up. But it's basically a battery operated tree. It's beautiful, not too big, not too small. And the lights come on by themselves and they flicker and flicker and flicker. You can turn it on 3 different modes: quick flick, a more delayed flicker, and just like a still flick. And it's a really beautiful tree. And like I said, it turns on by itself as soon as nighttime comes. And I'm not spending any electricity money on this tree. And it looks fantastic, but it looks fantastic. I don't know about any of you, but I'm really one of these sad people. I love to watch videos on stuff like pantry organization, fridge organizations, cleaning videos. I'm loving videos, watching people put their Christmas decorations up at the moment. One of my favorite channels is Miss Kayla's Heart. Her channel is just lovely. She's got an absolutely gorgeous house, and her Christmas decorations are lovely. There's many others. I would just be here forever telling you how many. There's another one that I like, another channel I like called Scandish Home, I think it's called. I don't watch that channel enough, but I've been really watching her putting up her Christmas decorations, and she seems to live in the middle of nowhere with a lot of large trees and bush, and it seems to be a place where it does get a lot of snow. I'm one of these people. I like snow in December. It doesn't snow here as often as people may think. We're not guaranteed to get snow in London. I like a white Christmas. There's a few Christmases that we've had where it started snowing in December, and then by Christmas Day, the snow's all gone. And to be honest with you, I've never really had a snowfall on Christmas Day. I never experienced that in England. If I lived up north, it would probably be a different thing. But northern England weather and southern England weather, I live in London. It's completely different. It's much, much colder up north. This is a picture of, there's several pictures. This is some table settings I've done for the holidays over the years. But this is a partial photograph of the garden that I had. There's a house that I lived in around the corner from here where I live now. And the garden was massive. And this is really just a section of the garden. The garden was huge. I wish I'd made more of the garden when I actually lived there. I didn't go out there as much as I should have. The garden was huge, and it was backed onto a very exclusive golf course. And when it did snow, rarely when it did snow, and it did snow sometimes, it just looked like a winter wonderland out there, and it was absolutely gorgeous. Like I'm saying, the garden was massive, and this is just a partial shot of the garden. Um, but this is the kind of look that I want for Christmas. I want it to be snowing. Now the temperatures have dropped in England, and it's gotten very, very cold, and a lot of the country, particularly the northern part of the country, are waking up to snow and ice and stuff like that. We're getting temperatures of like -1, -2, -3 at night, but no snowfall as yet here in the Totteridge area. And really disappointing, because I'm hearing that there's snow everywhere else, and just feel like we're getting left out once again. I really, really do want snow. And these are just some table settings that I've done over the years for the holidays. But my table settings, my style has become a bit more simplified now. I'm more like a barefoot Contessa Ina Garden in terms of style. But yes, like I told you, I love watching people do Christmas decoration videos, fridge and pantry organization videos, cleaning videos. I'm really a sucker for that. And I'm watching Netflix right now. I'm watching The Bad Surgeon on Netflix. There's a movie on Netflix called Loving Adults. I don't know if any of you've watched it. It's a foreign language film. It's a Danish film, but it's dubbed in English. Love it, love it, love it. I'm really watching it on replay all the time. I'm going to have Home Alone on a lot because that's just my favorite Christmas movie. And I'm watching Bad Surgeon on Netflix at the moment, which is, I know about this story already. I've watched other documentaries on it, but this goes into more detail in some aspects of the story. But this is the most, in terms of, that word love being, the love bar. It's the most extreme case of that I've ever seen. I mean, this is a woman who met this Italian surgeon. He happened to be a real surgeon, and that's how he was able to hook people in and rope people in and entice people and get people onto his little string. This woman met this surgeon, a real surgeon, and fell in love with him. He was Italian. He was dashing. He seemed to have a lot of money. He bought her gifts. He took her on trips all around the world to the most lavish places. He really, really romanced this woman. Like I said, this documentary is called Bad Surgeon. There's 3 parts of the documentary, from what I can tell, on Netflix. And, she met this guy and she thought he was just the world. She just thought he was just George Clooney times 12. And he seemed to have all the credentials. He was a surgeon. He had money. He dressed the part. He looked the part. He acted the part. He was very romantic. Like I said, took her on trips. And just, I think, a week leading up to their wedding, where he told her they were going to get married by the Pope. God, so cringe. She found out that many of the things that he told her were not true. I really urge you to watch this on Netflix. It's really good if you're interested in this kind of thing. I love this kind of thing, and I can watch it over and over again. He was telling her that the Obamas were going to come to their wedding, the Clintons, Andrea Bocelli was going to sing at their wedding. It was going to be like a fairy tale wedding in Italy. And it turns out that he had another woman living with him in Barcelona. And she was duped by this guy. There's a lot of documentaries like that floating around, and just look out for the signs. People that are, if it's too good to be true, don't believe in it. People that are engaging, people that are overly, display overt, overly affectionate, people that really lay on thick with the affection and the flattery. Those are the ones that you sometimes have to look out for. And I would encourage you all to watch this documentary called Bad Surgeon. It doesn't have the ending I would like at all, but it's still a good documentary. So well done if you've gotten to this far in the podcast. I've been having a lot of mashed potato this year. In for the holiday dinner in America, it's more common to have mashed potato. Over here, it's more common to have roast potatoes with Yorkshire puddings. The British Christmas dinner is really basically a more elaborate version of a British Sunday roast. So I've been having a lot of mashed potatoes over the past few weeks. So I probably will have roast potatoes and Yorkshire puddings with my Christmas meal. And I'm probably going to buy a turkey leg instead of having the whole bird. I bought that over the weekend, some turkey legs. I made them with some cranberry gravy. They were so delicious, and I'm a dark meat lover, so turkey breasts don't really do it for me. So if you want to go a bit more budget friendly this year, get a turkey leg. I really highly recommend turkey legs. They're so much more flavorful than breasts. But obviously, if you're a white meat lover, go for breasts. But I've roasted so many birds over my lifetime. I mean, so many. I've roasted many turkeys, many ducks, a few gooses. And one of the things about turkey that it needs, in my opinion, is the two things to know about turkey is not to overcook it. Overcooking it dries it out. And also use butter to make it moist and juicy. I do love mashed potatoes. I did mention in another video that perfect mashed potatoes for me are salt and pepper to your taste, 2 sticks of butter, and a cup of cream. And I know that sounds very elaborate, but mashed potatoes really taste good when they're seasoned properly with salt and pepper, white pepper, not black pepper, and butter and cream mixed together, and just mix it all in, melted butter. It just gives it a really nice taste. And if you want to be a bit more elaborate, I mean, some people like to use sour cream, a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano, which is probably my favorite cheese, a little bit in there to make it a bit special. Really, really wonderful. What else can I say? My favorite Christmas dinner is probably a German Christmas dinner, which is a roast goose, red cabbage, stewed red cabbage, and potato dumplings. And I've had that quite a few years. But I really don't think I'm going to be getting a whole bird for this Christmas. I could change my mind, but seeing as it's just going to be basically me, mum, and a few other people, I think I'm just going to get some delicious turkey legs. They're really, really economically friendly, non-expensive. They taste delicious. They're easy, very easy to cook. And I think that's what I'm going to do this year. So yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful Christmas with your family, with your friends. Eat, drink, and be merry.